Welcome. This is Solopreneur Success Strategies, and welcome. I'm Jane Gardner, and we're talking about World Domination Wednesday. Today, it's all about your customer on Wednesdays because you want to dominate their world. You want to be the place they hang out. You want to be the place where they buy from again and again. Because your customer, you should be always focused on your customer, and this is all about customer focused selling. So let's get started because we've been talking about this previously. So if you want to check out any previous episodes, you can go to http://jgtips.com/YouTube. On my YouTube channel, I have Mindset Monday. Tuesday's all about getting your message out Tuesday. Wednesday's World Domination Wednesday on your customer. Thursday's all about Jill or Jack of all trades, learning about solopreneur skills you need as a solopreneur. Friday's all about free software and tools on Freebie Friday. Saturday's all about systems on Saturday to free up your time and money. And Sunday is all about strategy. So let's get on with some more about customer-focused selling. And today we're going to be talking about how to sell as a marketer where you're focused on your customer. Because selling isn't about forcing a product down anyone's throat. It's about developing relationships with your customers and educating and getting them to understand what your product or service is all about. So as a salesperson or marketer, you need to demonstrate and educate. Oh, that rhymes. Sorry. And you should be willing to, your customer will choose your product if it's truly right for them. So you should be able to demonstrate and educate them about your product or service. So demonstrating and educating means video, means giving your customer all the information they need in order to make a decision about what you're selling and why they need it and what the benefits and features are of the product or service so that they can make a decision on whether or not they should buy. So all the details they personally need to know about your service or product. So you should be trying to be a marketer that is teaching, not a marketer who is selling. So you may need to start by educating your prospects about your general topic first. So give them some information, give them videos, give them blog posts about your general topic about that is related to your product or service. For example, if you're selling health products, you'll need to explain not just the benefits, but also how the products work to achieve their results in order to create the benefits for your customer. For any type of technological product, unless your target market consists of technology experts, you need to assume your prospects have no prior knowledge, so you have to break down your difficult subject into more easily digestible pieces to help them understand it. Make your site a go-to place for information on everything related to the products you sell. So, of course, you should show, never tell, because nobody can consume anyone's information that where they are telling them something. It's better to do demonstrations to show them how your product works. So it's important to demonstrate as well as to educate your prospects on your product or service. People believe what they see more than what they read. So it's not enough to simply tell them what your product does. A good way to educate them is to create videos that show your products in use, as well as giving them videos on how your service may work. You can also produce videos that show them many different uses of your product, especially those that may not be obvious to your potential prospects since they don't know your product or service. Two sides to every story, of course. You should also, in the past, marketers have downplayed or outright lied about the weakness of their products or service. But as a marketer, you want your customer to make the right decision. You want them to make an informed decision. So you want them to, if they buy something from you that doesn't suit their needs, there's a good chance they will return it. And of course, they won't do business with you again. So they're definitely not going to go and tell your friends about you if it's a negative that's response they get. So the sales becomes a wasted opportunity or even a black mark against your name if they bought it and then you didn't understand what the benefits and the pros and cons were for your product or service. So present the advantages, but also as well talk about the disadvantages of your product or service, or what the pros and cons are of your product or service. This gives prospects a balanced picture and helps them make the right decision. They may not be looking for what you're selling, so you don't want them to buy it just because they should buy it. You want them to buy it because they need it. It also endangers trust if you can be honest about your product and service, what the limitations are, as well as what the advantages are and the benefits are, versus what are some of the reasons they maybe shouldn't buy it if it's not what they need. If you're willing to be honest with people about your products, it makes your customers more likely to do business with you. This doesn't mean that you have to present any disadvantages in a negative light. When talking about the pros and cons of your product or service, you can discuss how the pros outweigh the cons, of course, or you can explain the relative unimportance of any downsides based on your target audience's needs. And of course, you need to know who is your target audience and target to them appropriately so that they are the ideal audience for your product or service, so that the pros outweigh the negatives. The key is to address any potential objections in advance so that people can decide whether the product with all its features will solve their problem or fulfill their need. So also you can also do demonstrate and educate to make sure that your website has information resource pages on there about your product or service so that they can go have a look at that and educate themselves. Try to anticipate the questions in your prospect's mind and answer them, whether it's on the sales page or in your frequently asked questions or just below your product or service. It always makes sure that they are aware that you understand them and what their questions might be. Aside from producing videos, of course, would educate you. Other good ways to educate include ebooks, reports, webinars, newsletters, and blogs. Use as many different media formats as possible. Some people are more receptive to certain types of media than others. So, is there too much information? No, there's never too much information. There's no such thing as too much information. The audience can decide whether or not they're going to consume your information, watch your videos, or read your posts. It's up to them. At least they're available for them. The key is to present enough information to answer your prospects' questions. Create a wide variety of content to show your audience what your product can do, and create additional content to demonstrate how your product solves simple problems related to your niche. Customers have a variety of questions when they're shopping, and your goal should be to create a one-stop resource for all the answers they need to make a purchasing decision. So this is all about making sure it's customer-focused selling, where you answer their questions and create information products that answer the questions well, and do trainings that will help them make a decision on whether or not they want your product or service. And having gone through this information, I have realized that I have been negligent in putting this information as well onto my website about my product or service. So I'm going to be doing this next, because it's important when people are making the decision to be informed, because you don't want them returning something just right after they bought it, realizing that they don't need it or they already have something that is relevant to the solution. You want them to buy it because they really need your solution. So the better educated they are as to what your solution is, the easier it will be for them to buy. So this is all about customer focused selling, and so we'll be talking more next week.